Okay. Whoa. Let me explain why I'm going, whoa. I literally just started this video. Like it says 15 seconds, but I would say 2 seconds. And instantly there's 5 people here. And I've got to think that's heaven sent. So I'm going to do some songs. I just addressed a coffee spill. It was a fairly full cup, but not, it had cooled off. And yeah, so some of these songs I'm going to do I'm not as familiar with, but I still think they're special. So yeah, and I'm curious where we got 8. I have a question for my angels, though. Why don't you, do this more often? I was kidding. I mean, it's hit and miss. It's hit and miss, but I'm so glad that you're all here. And yeah, curious where you're watching from. Sounds like you're from him. Okay, so let's see here. Which window here? In no particular order. In fact, I almost think I do want to do this one first because although, you're all here and you're staying curiously, I'm most familiar with this one. I just have to get the guitar because I forgot to do that. In my haste. I do wonder if maybe the picture, but that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Although, I do wonder if possibly Matt and Ernestine may be subscribed. Sorry, I know this is YouTube, but there's a lot on YouTube, and there's numbers that we haven't seen in a while, but we deserve to, so I appreciate it. Okay. Just quickly check. Yeah, okay. And it's letting me auto scroll the first time. I hope I won't be too warm. I got the AC on. I don't like to have this on, but I'm going to put it on too. I appreciate your patience as well. Okay. So out of curiosity, I've got to ask, as many of you as are comfortable to say, what was it specifically that brought you to this video? Something you searched? Something that stood out to you? I'm just curious. Like within a few seconds, that's amazing. Okay. So the first one I'm going to do is, and that's motivation if I even just stay on this window and do the songs, but I'll try and check in on your comments as well, because I do value them, and when I get them, I'm happy to communicate as well. I kind of want to show this because it's up. I brought it back up this morning. I found a different still. This one's kind of intriguing too because of the background, and that's someone special to me. Okay, pick. Where are you? Right here. Okay. Actually, it does do that. Quite say this to your face, but I know you hear me. And then, of course, it goes into flats, and I should have looked at that because now I have to go to the piano. I'll see you again. Oh, I've got to find a different version because then it doesn't chord the next verse. Sorry, I pulled that up pretty quickly. Incy Bitsy Spider? No, just kidding. 1903 and Funky Numbers. I'm curious about that name, and hello. It's almost familiar, but not with the numbers. It's not super familiar. Out of the title, out of pure curiosity, is there one that you would especially like to hear first? Because yes, I have to. Do I want to do Flying Without Wings? I mean, I guess that's true. I feel do and don't feel angels have wings. I'm going to take this off. I'm warm at the moment. I thought it was going to be chilly, but I'm warm at the moment. I've kind of been feeling, I don't really drink alcohol, but I've been kind of feeling like hungover. Like I woke up with a bit of a sore neck, mild headache, which both of them have mostly gone. Then I was briefly outside, but it's a bit cool, but I was kind of in the sun. Yeah, because I've got to find a different version of that song. And it doesn't start with W. I don't know why I was thinking it did. It starts with I. Just like our, and out of the 8, we have 3 here. So yeah, I'd love to hear from the other 2, where you're watching from, and the other questions if you'd like. And I do appreciate your patience. I part of it is I'm kind of borrowing this device from the other person in the house, even though they're going to be outside a lot too, and was outside longer than thought he was this morning. But so I mean, I do got some time, but I was just very eager to pick out some songs and then try them. Like I say, some I'm familiar with, some I'm not. And then also I selected the image I selected, and I thought, yeah, I bet you people would be kind of curious about that, and I'm happy to have selected it. So, well, this one looks like it's going to have to be on the piano because there's only 2 versions of it, and one of them's ukulele. So I'm going to start that again over here. I also I don't want to be distracted, and I won't because there's nothing to be distracted by. Just kidding. There's always something, isn't there? Especially when you have ADHD. But I'm glad that I've routined it through. I mean, if it's people I'm familiar with, I don't think they'd be shy. Maybe it's people that have never seen the channel before, never seen the videos before, and I didn't need to select that because I know that comments are coming in because I see one. Okay, so I'll do this one. You know, I wiped up that coffee, and I was a little bit worried because the dog tried to get some, and I thought, oh, caffeine, but that spilled. But I'll hopefully be louder than the AC. I can project pretty well, and there's a pedal on the piano. But yeah, you can wipe up a coffee spill or whatever, and because there's sugar and whatever in it, it can still be sticky on the ground. I'm tempted to wear this thing. I don't wear it as much anymore. I think it's over here, isn't it? I don't know. I haven't worn it in a while. I don't want to make people wait. I want to be comfortable, but I don't want to make people wait. So I'm going to do it kind of like Liberace James Brown style, or Maria, ironically. And, that's weird. Now your comment shows above the YouTube guideline thing. I'm going to kind of wear it, kind of not. Okay. Just want to... Sorry, sometimes it takes me a little bit of time to set up. Like to get into the groove. But I'm getting there, and I seem to be holding your patience, so that's cool. Like I say, I'm very curious what specifically about this video drew you in, because I can get to that after I do this song. I don't have to do anything in a particular order. I don't even think I typed everything up in the order that I found it and opened it. Okay. And 3 is almost half a beat, so it's all good. It's motivating, but so is engagement, so. And I will forever feel your strength when I need it most. And then for some reason, this is really badly done. I'll say that much though. As far as like the version that I found, and maybe I'll try and find a better version for later today. I just want to do the other songs, but then it doesn't have it chorded, and then it does after the next verse and chorus, and there might be a key change in there. I'm going to listen to the lyrics a bit better too. Now the other one I do want to do next is, and now we got down to one. Is it Incy? Who is it? It actually opened on Pinterest. Icon looks a little bit like the YouTube icon. What? It's saying a little thing at the top, and I'm waiting for it to not say it. I'm pretty sure that it would still play out just fine, even though it's saying it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and I didn't like it. Must be having technical difficulties or something. Anywho, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, this version I found. I couldn't find. We have to. Just a moment. Although not like this statement. I was just reminded of something. Anyone else? Ironically, but it could easily say both us. So anywho, it's on Pinterest for some weird reason, and there's chords written along the top and what looks like pen, and it looks like it's like a copy of the page. And I've heard of this song before. I don't know if I've ever covered it, so we'll give it a try. Okay. Now, this one, let me just take a very quick look at it. Again, I'm not super familiar with it. I don't know. Part of me is a bit more comfortable. Plus, I had gotten set up over there. I could do the guitar over there, but it truly is more comfortable over there. And it really doesn't take me very long to switch over. So, as long as I don't have anything, yeah. Oh, as long as no other spills or whatever happened. Plug this back in. It's fine, but it drops fast. Guitar is still over here. Okay, so this is Jealous of the Angels. I actually dated a tagger back in the day, and there was a famous one that I was connected with that was in one of my guitar magazines. I noticed after having been connected with him, I wasn't close with him or anything, but okay. Whew, hopefully it won't be too chilly. So we'll get back out of there. Something about this clutter later. Okay. Got two of you here. Welcome. Where are you watching from? And just feel the feels. I didn't know they would be that I'd have to stay You're so fast. Okay, this is not the version I found is not very well done. Because what the heck is you so fast? I'm so numb. Can't feel it. I think it was gone so fast, and you both did leave. I do apologize. You know that like the song I started with. I am familiar with it. It's just I didn't browse long enough to find a good version. So what else do we got here? And the thing is I've been musical for a long time, and I can usually follow chords with lyrics when they're done well. Yeah, I've also been seeing a lot of Grammarly. Okay, that accidentally closed, but I only have. Oh, maybe it didn't. No, it just opened Grammarly. Okay. So as long as kind of, not saying that unstable connection thing at the top, but now it's fine. I think I'm just going to take a brief pause because nobody's here right now. I know people can come afterwards, but nobody's here right now. It's not all that professional. I thought it was. I thought I had my waters all set, but oh yeah, I do. I just didn't think I did. Okay, because I don't like it too warm. I don't like it too cold. My teeth don't. That should be fine. Maybe put a little dab of this in there. Okay, so I'm going to do one I am familiar with that I almost feel like I've played before. So hopefully this is the version. I think this is the one in the title, dark brown, and I didn't type chords, but it found that because it realized I was looking at chords for songs. I was going to do it. Somebody was just here very briefly. I don't only do country, but I know it does seem like I do it often, probably to some people. But I'm fairly familiar with this one. I'm feeling like it'd be a good one to do, kind of get you in, and then once I've got you. Sorry, I don't mean for that, but you know what? It is a strategy that might work. So and it's not that what am I call it? Not that I don't know how I missed that big bunch of coffee. Yeah, and I hope I get that later. Sorry, I had a coffee spill before I started, and I just noticed a bit that I missed. Okay, so now for this. Feel the feels. Hope you like it. Curious your thoughts on it. And then I'll do other songs mentioned. Okay, so it says 4th fret. And don't mind me whether you're musical or not, saying I beg to differ, but a lot of times it says capo on a certain fret, and I find that I don't need it there. I don't know if it's because of my vocals or what, but okay, now again. And if this isn't a good version, I'll find a different one pretty easily, I think. He was a giant. I was just a kid. I was always trying to do everything he did. I can still remember every lesson he taught me. Up and learning how to be like my old man. Already agreed. As a lion, my father was defiant. When he heard me walk the line, he knew how to lift me up and to let me fall. Back, he always had a plan. If you've ever been abused by a parent, I'm so sorry. I empathize. I don't need to hear about it, but I empathize. My old man, feel the feel. Feel the cow. Feel the cows on his face. Dusty overalls. My old man. Now I finally understand. I have a run to we learn from each other. Now I'm a giant. I was trying to go everywhere I go. Yeah, it does. Do the best I can to raise it. My old man, how quickly I'm having a sip of coffee, eh? Okay, we do have some. Oh, until I came and looked, there was somebody there. I guess it was just the timing, but it's almost as if it was. I don't know. I understand some people have a hard time sitting in their emotions, and I am not immune to that as well. To be quite honest, I mean I am human. But I do often, especially lately, and it's not like it's anything new. I do sometimes feel like I often somewhat live on the deep end. A lot of us do. Life can be deep sometimes, and the things that we, experience and go through, right? But and I guess I have actually become mostly pretty good at feeling the feel, but it's still hard. You'd rather feel more good, happy feelings than not. But it's true. I don't know. I know I said it in the title, and I said it maybe not right before that song, but maybe people either didn't process it or actually I'm going to add it here too. And I might put that as a song myself actually at some point. I opened that. I don't think I'm going to do it though. Okay. I suppose, I don't have anybody here right now, enjoying it and not in any rush to necessarily leave because they don't have to and they're enjoying it. I mean, there was some nice lyrics in this song, and if it's chorded well, then I should be able to do it just fine. And this band actually keeps coming up. It's not chorded well in the sense that AFCG, FGCG. No, see, that's too difficult to remember. If it was just AFCG, I might be able to, but which is a neat combo. What's that thing called again? Okay, right. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling so this morning. I took it to hell now. But I'll do this. My dad would say, that if I'm not up to it or don't want to do it right now, that's fine. Don't make YouTube tell me to. But no, I don't mind. Well, there's only one version of it, and it's two versions. One's a ukulele, which would be interesting. Not that I know this song very well. But it's not that there are chords that I don't know. And I don't know if I know it well enough to... I'm going to have to listen to that one a bit better, because if I do know it well enough, maybe I could write out the pattern. I'll do a little preview of it. But yeah, it's annoying. Who posted this version of this song? Tangy Ginger. Why do it half-assed? That's all I got to say. But I'll do what's chorded, and then... and I do play a lot of country, but it's not all I play. And then I'll have to do the rest when I get the rest chorded. Something just flew off the guitar there, a bit of lotion or something. Welcome, glad you're here. What are you watching? Feel the feels? Let's enjoy some time together. Put your best face on for the world. Make another smile and just pretend. But you're just putting on the grave. Nothing's ever gonna change. Let it hurt. fine, but sometimes the only way around it. Let love do its work. Yeah. Whether I'll do the rest of it at some point, I don't know. And I like that it was not, nothing against religion, but there's a lyric in there that could have easily said, let God do his work. And instead it said, I don't remember what it said. It just closed it. Let love do the work or something like that. I thought that was pretty cool. It's only been 26 minutes. Good golly, Miss Molly. What do you feel? For 26 minutes, do you feel actually like I might be sitting down? I don't know if I want to do I drive your truck. I just said it. But if I don't do it, then you might forget it. I'm going to do this one. Yeah, I'm very disappointed in that Best Life song. I feel like I had more open than I've done because I've only done 2. I'm going to do a third one, and then there's 3 that I haven't done. Yeah, I guess that's accurate, and I might do more later today, possibly with him. I don't know. I don't need to necessarily be in this theme all day, but some of them are a little bit more obvious than others. And if I'm meant to be, and if you're meant to be, in a theme where you're just listening to songs, that make you think of loved ones lost or, your dad, whether you still have them or not, then it will unfold that way. Right? So I'm going to do this one. It's one of the ones I'm not super familiar with. So before I forget it, I have more coffee later. It's not 12 yet. And I know what we eat, but I'll figure it out. Interesting that the intro chords. Don't let myself get distracted. The intro chords are B and E. What's up, brother? It's 5 o'clock. That was not a red, but it's just somebody put it in the group. Anonymously. Honestly, ordering out food from anywhere today, being that it's Father's Day, even though some people don't have their fathers living or close by to them or not connected to them, it's even earlier in the day, probably, lunch and brunch, maybe midweek. Getting through to the middle of the week. Monday and Tuesday are kind of my busiest days that I have in the plans at the moment. So, and they're not even that busy. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to remember how fast this song is and if this is going to be scrolling too fast. For those that are watching later, and because I don't want to be rolling much longer, I do and I don't. I do and I don't. Just a little time alone, but you let me be a little shadow, following you wherever you would go. want you to know. He knew who I need. When he picked you from the others, you could really see that you would be my hero, everything I want to be. God made my father, he was being good to me. That B doesn't sound right to me at the moment, from what I remember it sounding like. And it does have a sharp that I don't know, and I was possibly making that obvious. And I just feel like it just came from the piano, even though it's been less than half an hour. So I kind of just don't want to go back there. So, oh, maybe I go back now. Okay, well, it looks like I've got it down to just one now. I could do more, and I don't know if there's anything that I put in the title that I missed, but I think it's okay to take the morning a little bit slow. So, and I closed about half of the ones that I opened. See you again. Okay, the best part of me. There is another song that he does. The two names are a bit of trigger, and it's kind of ironic that it's a Sunday. For me, they are anyway. But so I guess we'll see how I feel after I do this one, if I want to do the other one. That I don't like. Most mistakes I made them twice. Sometimes I don't live out the words I say. I just can't stay out of my own way. Tension overflow. Lay down deep inside my bones. Till my head's been known. This heart of mine is something else. This line about blues makes more sense than the one I saw earlier. Maybe that's what it meant. Maybe, but I would have heard it that way. I got my old band, baby blues. I got taste for whiskey too. A brother love for rock and roll. Southern gospel soul. It's not like my family, but the best part of me. Part of me. Something takes me over every moment of my head. Heartbeats in time. It's all the storm. As the stars all align when we stay. Yeah, the best part of me. The best part of me. Part of me. Kind of want to do the other one because I'm not sure about that one, and I don't have anything else lined up. And I guess I expected more from this, especially without started. No, just kidding. But again, just in case everybody's watching this point, I'm sorry if I sound like I just beat this into the ground, or like I'm sorry if I just sound like I just repeat this a lot. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes things come up for people. When they plan to settle in and watch for a while, and then something distracts them, and they have to, or sometimes their device does something, or or they just simply plan to come back later. Like it's not necessarily a negative or personal reason. There was quite a few people that did it. One seemed to be a troll almost because all they said was hi, but they did stay for a while. Something that's going to be on YouTube, but we all know that they can be. I don't know about liking. Maybe I don't mess with. I out and I think I did that with one. He has one called Drinking Class, but it could be like just the people who drink and the class that they are. I don't know. I do. I'm seeing some of his titles that are intriguing, some more than others. That one's not accurate, especially to today. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Grammarly. Just kidding. Nobody's here right now, but for anybody who watches this afterwards, how do you manage through your triggers that you feel in your life, the ones that are distressing to you? And I suppose I could also say that if there's any that you're trying to manage and get a hold on, that you struggle with. Again, I'm saying this for lack of a different phrase to the ethers because nobody's here right now to hear it. Oh, he does that one too, eh? I thought I knew one of his songs that also started with an I. That's the one I guess I'm looking for. I don't really feel like I know that many of the Bryce songs. I'm going to look again because I'm fairly sure it's him, or is it Bryce Lewis? That sounds a bit familiar. The Bryce part I'm fairly sure about. You know what, though? I don't want to sing it. It's not that I'm not grateful and that I don't feel blessed for what I do have. But the lyrics in that song, yeah, so I want that because I think that both the triggers thing, the mind, what sparks the mind to feeling things that aren't always, easy to feel. It's something that I think we all could benefit from some strategies. And it's kind of an ongoing thing. But as far as, there's a line in the song that says, I'm blessed, I got everything I need. Well, I don't got everything I need. I would not be telling the truth if I did. And honestly, there's a part of me that feels most people don't. But I do feel that a lot of people largely do, more than they don't. So there is that. Yeah, because of the coffee spill and that, but otherwise he's been kind of after doing this thing that he usually does for about an hour. He got a bit of a distracted start once he even got up there, so it's probably been maybe the duration plus 10 minutes. I already had everything set up, so that was all fine. So that's about an hour. But then it's gonna be outside, so that's fine. It's quite windy out though, so I don't know. I just have to accept the fact that I don't think we're going to eat out today, even though it's been a while and might be open to doing so. Places are just going to be too busy. I guess I hope everybody enjoys the Father's Day if they're able to celebrate, or at least with their loved ones, if that's doable. And if not, say I do understand, somewhat. And so you're welcome to be on my content and we can keep each other company. So But yeah, just know that we're out there celebrating. I mean, people just want to have a bit of variety. And I mean, I've been doing all right, and we got some stuff from Hank the other day, and that's been nice. Although I was disappointed about the wheat bacon, but I don't know. I don't really want pasta pizza for lunch, so I don't know what I'm going to have. I mean, if we don't mind the wait times, I guess, but then it's figuring out what. At the moment, even though I only had the rest of a not a small granola bar, well, not a big one either, but like a, you know, if you can visualize that, off, size of that, doing that on the screen, like it wasn't one of these. Well, maybe it was about the same size, but no, it was wider. Anyway, and I'd had a little bit the day before just to try it out. I thought, yeah, I'll have that for breakfast another day, so I did. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't super filling, I guess. But we didn't eat a lot yesterday, so I just wish. I can move some of those around, as I told him. Like this tab that I'm doing this in is actually, although I don't see it at the moment, is actually. Well, I don't want to collapse that tab. Yeah, see, because then, and then it goes to the end of it. But if I do, then okay. Made me think of a childhood song. Anyway, do my mother say everything? Anywho, well, this would have been great if it was more engaging, but maybe afterwards. I just want to take a few moments. I kind of want to try this. Things have got to be organic, not forced, and you got to let people just kind of do what they're gifted to do if they're gifted to do it. You do have to be careful of scams. I think anybody that charges over 100, I mean, people got to make a living, and sometimes it's hard for people because of whether they're on the autism spectrum or whatever else to get mainstream work. Maybe they don't have the educational background and can't afford to have access to it, or know that kind of schooling just hasn't been for them. They've always struggled with it, or as they've aged, it would be harder for them. They want to work in their niche, and some people truly are gifted in this, and so I'm not against people that and I really just do my own mostly, but I'm not against people that channel charging necessarily, but more than or even more than $100 I don't think is right, no matter how good you are. And unfortunately, although some of the famous ones apparently are cheaper these days than they used to be, but still really long wait lists. Unfortunately, some of the ones that are quite well known for it and doing pretty well for themselves still are greedy. I guess if you own a mansion or whatever, then it's more costly, right? But I like to be able to look back at these and also share that it's possible. So I figure, why not spend a bit of time doing this? Because the people that were there now, yes, the number did shrink, so to speak. I honestly feel, I do feel kind of with my dad. And again, I don't feel these things often. I do, though, and they're special. And I know that a lot of people don't, or they kind of turn away from it for whatever reason, or just feel unable. So I am blessed that I can. And although, like I say, it's not super often, I don't want people to think, oh, you get to talk to your dad every day whenever you want to. You're so lucky, or your other loved ones. Yeah, no, not necessarily. But it is a blessing. And so 8 is a pretty high number. Sure, probably. I mean, again, it may just be symbology how I'm seeing it, but part of me does feel like even if it was kind of a bit of a slow start, uh, like my dad is saying, that was just to kind of motivate you, let you know that a lot of us are here, even if it also represented other people. And then when the number went, first of all, that's a glitch that sometimes has been happening the past few days. So I've heard and noticed, well, during some of my lives, like, it's like, oh, it looks like they left. No, I'm still here. Okay. You know, and somebody who really, who was sick but has seen my content before and really enjoys it. And it's kind of like, um, they, and I had to be able to focus to do this too, and not have a lot of distractions or whatever. And we're glad it was weekly, but just really quickly. I mean, maybe what I'll ask, because I don't want to roll too long and necessarily get super deep. I don't have a lot of energy, especially after what I've done in this, and just I have other things I want to kind of try and focus on a little bit. But you know, and again, just because I'm hearing this from my loved ones doesn't mean that I don't want to hear it from you, or don't want to hear from you. If you have something kind and positive to say, you're welcome to say it. It's interesting. I typed likely as Luke, I'm your father. Right? How ironic. And I'm not even a big fan of upstairs, but I don't think I hate it either. So. Maybe it's no, it's look like look tight. It's like this is the thing. That really looks like her. Okay, all things considered, I wasn't gone that long. Got nobody here. But again, I also want to do this, for me to be able to kind of go back to and process not that I don't have a bunch of other things online. And I do have a life offline. And, I do have some things that I otherwise do. But I am online a lot. It is true. So, and when you can put something in a tab, it's just, they can accumulate, that's for sure. But, and usually I'm okay with that. But sometimes it does kind of make me feel tired and overwhelmed. So I have a method that I can't believe I didn't notice this other days when I don't know what I had. Oh, right. Yeah, but that wasn't what it was. I don't know. I haven't even done much in this window in a few days, I feel like. Maybe it's one of the ones I was avoiding, but it was up anyway. I don't think that would be, or that I was wanting to kind of keep on what it was currently on. But no, it looks like I can move some things over, which is good. Because, it's already, yeah. Anywho. But, so I feel like even though, I feel like one thing he's adding, and it can be beneficial for others too, because it might, might feel good for them to kind of hear the kind of thing that's said too, even if it is to me. So, but I do feel like, and as they, just remind people, well, this wasn't the first thing I heard, but just remind people, well, you know what, I'm going to wait until there's somebody here to remind, because there's nobody here right now. I almost want to put it in the live chat. Sometimes it does feel good to do something special, and honestly, when we honor loved ones that have passed away, when we do something special, and I guess I've done podcasts through the week, but at the same time, yeah, this will be her dad's first Father's Day without her. She does have one other sibling, I think only one, but it ends up sometimes being more of a treat for us, and then therefore kind of a treat for them because they're happy that we are having something nice. Yeah, luckily this did go on the. I may have a bit more before noon, but I don't know if I want any at the moment. I'll have it with the next meal, which will probably be afternoon. But I could say the things that are a bit more, not directly to me, but kind of more in general, or they can. Because that was interesting. I never really kind of fully brought it to that kind of. But no, in other words, just saying, I don't have a lot to say other than, I'm proud. And reminding you to not compare yourself to your brother. I'm proud of you both for different reasons. Even if that's hard to understand sometimes, please believe it. Yes, we did try and motivate you at the beginning. And there was a part of us that came with those views. But we got to remember that we can't control people. Right? And so, if they were going to stay, They would have. If they wouldn't, they wouldn't. You know, I'm actually interestingly, because it was 5 plus 3, and I was processing this before I even did that math, but I'm actually hearing that there was 3 of them that they thought would stay, whether I've known them online or in person or both, uh, whether we've drifted or not. There was 3 people that they feel were familiar, and they thought they might stay. And again, reminding me it may not have been personal, so don't worry about that. Don't spend too much time thinking about that. Because we were here. And do you want to know who those numbers represented? And it's interesting. I've lost a lot of people. Would I say more than 8? Like some of them I call acquaintances, but most of them are family. A couple of them, 2 or 3 of them are friends. And I'm just going to see what names get said, because those are the ones that are perhaps most strongly present. Again, nothing beats actual people, even if it's just on the internet. But Earth Angels. But the others want to be. Maybe they have a way of watching this back later, and yeah, they can do things with devices sometimes, but they still can't leave comments. I mean, unless, of course, you in a comment channel something they're saying to you, if that's happened, So, but I do feel the treat thing. I do. Okay, so definitely him. Obviously, and I know I've said that 3 times, but just to kind of vary it up. Not that anybody's really been hearing it, but medicate, dose, amusement, noun, version, aversion, excursion, gift, tidbit, delicacy. I don't know which one of those I like. So, but anywho, so I'm just gonna kind of rattle off, some names, and yeah, I feel like that's telling me who was here, and who might have something to say and then. But one thing I do want to say, and I've felt this before, that my dad, who has passed away, not only gives me his love and his other son, and a little bit of family that's still living, and the person left. So you were there. We go. I'm just kidding. But anywho, it's like go to the next one. But anywho, it'd be interesting to be like in like a crying moment, and somebody's coming and say, "Are you okay?" I don't really do this on here very often, but I have sometimes, and sometimes the crying comes on watching it back a little bit. But it's all good. It's healing crying. So I almost feel like 3 of them, but again, even those 3, I feel like entities of loved ones were here. Maybe they were the ones that brought those. This is actually kind of interesting, and I've been thinking about them a little bit. This is kind of interesting, and I can understand maybe why he didn't stay. I mean, he might understand why we drifted, and it was nice to meet him once, And Robert, if you come back to this and you find this part, there was just a couple of things I came across that, and I think I was kind of getting mixed signals, but I really did enjoy our lunch together, and meeting you, and I hope your mother's doing okay at 106. And that was nice when we went down to the theater festival and got those temporary tattoos, and were reminded, that we don't have to get real ones, and that they were kind of the she was giving them, the volunteer was giving them to adults as well, So, but they were like, um, it was the part of the festival that, or that they were designed for the part of the festival that was for younger people. And Clark was very much a kid at heart, or definitely very kind of, I don't know how to explain, quirky, um, very, seemed kind of innocent, for lack of a different word. Um, you know, Anybody that knew him will know what I mean. Do I want to show his picture? Um, it might say something, but it might not, because maybe I don't live in it. But I feel like I posted some fairly recently. In fact, not that long ago, I was looking at there's another picture of him that is also one of the better ones I've seen of him. I don't know. I guess I don't know if I've seen that many really, but this one will do, I suppose. He really had a big forehead. Gee, thanks, he says. Well, that was one of his things. Well. So that's 2, then 3. So Dad brought one, Clark brought one. And I do feel like I found out who Clark brought was maybe his brother. Interesting, because I think it interesting. And his mother would have been possibly with them. He says, yeah, Mom was sleeping, and when he got there, and so he didn't have headphones. That was one reason why he didn't keep watching, and he was a little bit confused about what had happened. But it's okay. He says, maybe I'll meet again. I'm not mad. It's okay. But he says that he just went to YouTube because he follows a few channels and saw it was showing this randomly because of his help. And he's interestingly saying that his brother was there for about 15 minutes and was starting to feel like, feeling frustrated. As I feel Clark, this is interesting. I've channeled him a few times since his passing. He was kind of a man of few words, but he I try not to do this when I'm channeling, and when I've channeled him the few times I haven't done this, but I feel like he's trying to express something which I'm paraphrasing or having to kind of rephrase, because it feels like he's trying to say his brother was frustrated. But a lot of people would say, like with Ray, that he was hardly ever mad at anybody. He forgave fairly willingly, which can be very hard, right? And so he tried not to see those hard emotions in others as well. And there was somebody there for like a few seconds, but I do sense he's trying to say that the brother was frustrated because he'd been waiting 15 minutes. He came in to see their mother, maybe not from super far, but it's like came and kind of getting the sense like he's just communicating a thought, and it's like kind of, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like, but put it in your words, kind of thing. This again, I rarely do because I like it to try and be as real as possible. It's not that this isn't real, but essentially, it sounds like he's trying to get across that that when people come and visit her fairly often, and I mean, I shouldn't be surprised in a way because she is very, very old, but yet I don't know. It's what's being told to me. So I mean, and I hadn't. I mean, it may sound surprising, but I actually hadn't even connected the fact that senior sleep. I mean, I like to sleep quite a bit. You know what I mean? I don't do it as much as I would like sometimes, but pretty much just saying that they would go there and and fairly often to visit. And he says it's what he does. He goes on this phone. He doesn't wake mom up. And that sounded a lot like him. And even though I said that he was never mad at anybody, he says, I do sense, he's human. He does have human, or he was, and angels, they do feel feelings, just less strongly. And people vary with that on earth too. But I do sense that he may not be frustrated, but he wishes. He's like, I have to wait. I have to wait to see my mom. They're right there. And they don't wake him up. They don't wake her up. And he's saying something else that sounds a lot like your poor mother. But I hope you understand why I, have things the way I do now. It's like, okay. But no, so he's, saying that the brother would often kind of just look at different things on his phone, sometimes those that he followed on YouTube, and he says, it's not many. I almost feel like he's trying to tell me, like, that the brother is considering subscribing or at least coming back. He says he hope he wakes her up. But yeah, so he says, and then my dad comes back and says something else. I'll express it this way. Clark was very happy when something transpired, and he wants me to share it with me. And I'm doing this so with you as well. That, Robert was just about to leave as somebody tunes in. And I'm doing a little storytelling, and there's some very special things in here. So I hope that you'll feel that with me here. My friend is talking about his, and he left, so whatever. I'm just going to continue. Hey, Glenn, can you tickle the ivories while I just said your name, whoops, quickly over here. Quickly go upstairs and That's still kind of morning. He was playing it last night too. Where'd those shoes go? So what he's saying is that Robert was kind of zoning out, and therefore he was watching, and he got curious, and he turned up the volume a little bit, and then she kind of woke up, and he kind of glanced up, and then glanced back down for a few minutes, letting it continue to play, and then they, visited for a little bit. So he says, so my dad is saying that they're all very happy that Hilda got to hear a little bit. I don't know what, singing, maybe talking. I also heard, interestingly, 2 pianos, because the person in the home was just playing piano, and it sounds like it's being communicated that there was somebody at the residence playing piano. I felt like I was being told at that very moment, but potentially just recently, and she was remembering it. So that kind of brought it more strongly to, not only was it done in this video, but also like letting me know that she's getting to enjoy some music while she's in her senior's residence. What that was kind of about, to the person that just tuned in, welcome, don't be shy. I said around the 40-minute mark some of my feelings about mediumship and channeling. The only other thing I'll say is, if you haven't done it, then you can't say whether it's possible or not, because my experience has been very real. Like, that was just very special to me. And the person left. But I was gonna say something else. But anyway, yeah, I didn't see it up there, so
no, it was on the window. That sorry about
odd
that.
spot. Yeah, I would love to do more music with you, but it's true. I'm probably gonna try wrapping this up soon because I'm tired and yada yada, and I probably should be hungry because I haven't eaten very much, and I want to do other things and things other dudes. I need like 2 people here. I mean, honestly, sometimes they're always there. They're always there. Sometimes more than we need the most. And some so therefore sometimes stronger than others. I heard a lyric about that in a song recently, actually. And so, I mean, I've had 20-something years of adjusting to that every way. But it's still always a bit of a hard time. And it's hard to avoid hearing about it. I haven't had the radio on very much. But I guess social media in general, about at this point in time. It says unstable connection, but whatever. But so make sure the gate's closed. Yeah, so I've got 2 out of 8 to still go. Well, the longer I will, perhaps the more greatness will happen, but I'm wondering if I should put this coffee in the fridge, because I don't know. I mean, this wasn't a full cup, but I've had maybe almost the equivalent of a full cup. Back already. You need sunscreen? Really? The silly Billy, if it's not like bright, strong beam shining around like that image that I posted as a still in one of my videos, and I'm curious what people think of the one in this one, then the sun's not out. I mean, it is kind of cloudy and hazy, but it was just spray. What's interesting, actually, is the other day, I know this was some weird to share, but I was, I don't know which of the 2 days, it's the weekend, either way, but it was the weekend. I'm surprised nobody's asked about it. There hasn't been a lot of activity since right initially, but there's been some. But I was trimming my nails. Just so happened I felt the need to, and I know somebody tunes in right as I say that, but let me explain. We were also talking about those shoes. And if anybody arrived, just let me know, and I need to be there for it. Thank you. Just talking to the other person in the house. But what's interesting about it is that, and it goes with the picture of this video. My dad was a blacksmith, and so I mean, somebody has to do it, right? We were in a small town in Ontario, so I think he was one of, if not the only one who did that. And the person that was like, I know it's my thing. I don't like it. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But anywho, and so that was something that one of his clients, back when he was alive in the 80s, had painted for him. And I think it was supposed to be him, actually. And horseshoes are a combination. Well, there's the hoof, and there always is. And it grows. It's essentially a horse's nail, I guess, when you think about it. And then there can be the horseshoe. And then there's the pads. Why there's a horseshoe, I don't know. I'm actually kind of curious about that. And I mean, he passed away when I was pretty young, and I never, interestingly, being a kid, and I mean, I'm still a very curious kind of fella, but kids are often, why do horses wear horseshoes? This is kind of interesting knowledge. Hopefully people will be here for it. Protect hooves, enhance traction, and assist with correcting hoof issues or addressing medical conditions. That's what I thought, like that they might just be more sensitive than we thought they were. But then do goats have hoofs? And sheep? Why don't they have? They're a lot less heavy. I guess that's true as far as animals. Um, Good proving grip on slippery or uneven ground or surfaces. Yeah, no, that makes sense, and that's kind of sort of what I kind of guessed as well. So anywho, yeah, so it's interesting that that those things came up, and then I happened upon that picture because I'm hearing a weird noise. Because very strongly, makes me feel, the connection with my dad. And he's always the most important first one, but I don't want to leave anybody out, and it gets a weekend, the other person in the home is home, and again, but if I'm able and I'm feeling it, then why not, right? So I'm just going to quickly just put quickly see what else I can channel. So I feel like that was pretty good from Dad and Clark. Hey, buddy, I talked with you recently, so I won't say much. You've got other people you want to visit, and then you know how important it is to. What is that noise? Okay. But that's interesting that Ray came in at that moment, because I do feel like she's helped us out, connected to those, and possibly even has something to do with Michelle. Is no, she didn't seem bothered. Anyway, so she says, you got to remember, and you do your best, and that's fine, and that's all you can do. But to cherish those that you have in your life. That's my message to people, because now that I've passed away, I can't as much, and I know that you've learned that probably through a lot of losses of your loved ones, But when you're reminded that somebody young can pass away, right? And you're reminded that I understand what you're saying, but she said, or what you've thought, but that although you were more connected, you were more involved in different things in your 20s, including how we met. You didn't necessarily connect with them online. You didn't necessarily occasionally hang out with a lot of the people. I get that sense. Is that correct? And I say yes. She says, but we did. So I understand if I felt like I was one of your closest friends, and why my passing has been so hard for you. But I want you to be happy, and I want you to be enjoying your life as much as you can. And I'm going to bring my... Okay, and the viewer left. I mean, and that could have came across as it did, or like I was saying it to the people watching, but they're like, yeah, this is... now I'm going to do it. Well, that's your loss. I mean, there's many ways, but this isn't a terrible way. But anyway, let it go, bud. Let it go, she says. Just do you. Why don't you do you? Let it go. Live it to the breeze. Why don't you do you? And I'll be me. She says, by the way, the walk was lovely. She's saying she did know some people at it. They may not be who I thought they were, but I don't know whether I would have thought they would be or not. But she says I don't want you to feel like you missed something and feel bad. But I'll let you know that it went well. And that I do have loved ones that enjoyed it. And I know that you were there in your heart. So that's 3 of them. I do feel like Lee might be one of them. Yeah, hey bud, just saying hi, rock on. And then Roger, is that 4 or 5, says, I was gonna say the same thing. And then you kind of like this or whatever. So that's 5. We got 3 more to go. 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? Well, what's the face here? But we kind of already covered that. Interesting man wandering around in the house, who I shall make nameless at the moment. Steve is one of them. I don't think he processed that. He's eager to get outside and all that. If he's saying, if you can just tell him that I still think about him, I've never forgotten him, and I'm glad to see that he's doing pretty well, and that you both are doing well. So that's 5. What I'm doing now on the 40-minute mark, I did kind of, and you left, so whatever, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I have 3 more to go. I'm going to have to give the dog something, though, because it's going to distract me otherwise. Just something small, perhaps, honey? This is kind of a neat little kind of exercise to round it up and remind me how powerfully they can be with us. I don't necessarily, I know it, but it's also so that other people know it too. That their own loved ones, same thing, in their own way. But it is going to start. It is kind of windy and allergies, and I'm already kind of congested from doing a long podcast, and it's kind of busy out there. And now he's back here. It may not be as sunny as I think it is, and then I'll just move those over there, and it'll be good. But okay, so we got 5. Is that right? So 6. The only comment that this has gotten at this point does not make me think of anybody, but 1903. That would have been really interesting if it was 1998. I don't need the signs and symbols, but they do kind of help solidify and bring the realness into it. 1903, I wasn't even around. There wasn't a lot. Most were. But how old would someone be if they were 1903? Yeah. I should be able to do that math. 99. No, I can't figure it out. But I do believe that some people that are very, very up there in age. That's weird. It's a perfect gift ancestry for Father's Day. 99 minus the 3, 97. 96 maybe. Plus 25. Am I doing that right? I'm not great at math sometimes. I was wondering if 122. Okay. Try to remember. Like you used to have saying, oh, you know, if I go before or she goes before me or something like that, and you used to have a saying, oh, you know, can make another 22 years. That sounds familiar. And there was a 22 in the duration for a moment there. So that's interesting. That's maybe what it means. She's not there yet, but she might get there. And then she'd set a Guinness record. I couldn't imagine what quality of life would be like, even at the age, even in the 80s or 90s. I can barely imagine 50, to be quite honest. And he goes, well. Luckily, there was one over here. Not typical, but mostly. That's okay. I still have how many more to go through? 5 gazillion. But I think we are on 5, or are we on 6? Who's on first? Hey, Sonny! Picked up a Kleenex that dropped. But luckily, I was loud enough, and he got written and dropped it. Okay. Ah. And Clark goes, well. And Ray did her cute little laugh. You know, I say that often, but I mean, I did like it. You know, even if sometimes it was a nervous laugh. Not because I was making you nervous, just because, I don't know. I think that I remember her telling me once that she had a lot of anxiety, but she tried not to talk about it much, didn't want to make other people anxious, although if you have to talk about it, talk about it. Actually, it's like, that's what I would say now, by the way. You know, and she always tried to be, you know, kind of talk her way out of it, as a lot of us would, but and to you know, just kind of, I don't know if she's trying to say it, or even I am, because I do and don't feel it's accurate. I might do some chaptering. We'll see. Yeah, and then that's probably going to pace. But anyway, and then I want to transfer things over. But yeah, if he's still out there, then even the back, I'm not sure. Well, I don't know, and I don't know. Yeah, and I finished off leftovers last night. I think I have one piece of pizza. One piece of pizza and some chips, or something that I got from there, maybe. Although I'm not sure what I think about those things. And did I get something else snacky that I like? I don't know. Anywho. but her and all of them encourage you to talk about your mental health with anybody that you can access, that feels comfortable, that feels like they'd be able to help, uh, regardless of their the background. They have lived experiences, and yeah, and that's actually kind of interesting too, because it's something I saw when I first woke up this morning online. I don't know if I want to play the song or not, but it it's yeah, basically, yeah, I don't know. Um, like, well, you said you were going to play some songs, and I maybe they didn't notice the duration. They were here for a few seconds, and like, I come in, I want to hear this particular song, and I don't know what song you're talking about, but you said you weren't going to play it. Why did you put it in the title? People. I mean, we all can do it, and people can be that quick. And if they only knew that I did do most of them, then they wouldn't be complaining. They wouldn't. I don't know. Anywho, have I done 6, or have I just went back to Ray and one of the other ones? Okay, so we've got Dad, we've got Ray, we've got Roger, we've got Lee, we've got Clark. That's a date. Wouldn't want to forget him. So I think I'm going to say it's 6, just because I think I only have energy to do 2 more. So if I've missed one of you, I appreciate. I love you and appreciate you being here, Marianne. Hey, Marianne, what your game can anybody play? It's like, sure, shuffle the cards. We're all very proud that you're trying to manage through the cards that you're being dealt. Um, and in life, which ironically also met the coffee spill, apparently. I haven't had these out in a while. I'm struggling to get them out now, partly because they've got a bit of coffee spilled on them, and partly, I guess, so the box is a little bit wet, which was good to notice that. Not that I really have these out very often. I got rid of that. But I don't want to think, I didn't pick a card, any card, but talking about solitaire and that earlier. But maybe she likes to play cards. She certainly liked coffee. I haven't handled cards in ages, man. Might just have to put a tie on this and get rid of the box, because I don't know if it will dry out, and I don't know if I want to try to get it to. But I know I don't like what that says. So, yeah. But anywho, Grandma. Oh, she says. And she says, and I haven't heard much from my grandparents. This is just a perfect example of how, even I, and I wish somebody was here to hear it, because, unless there's good examples, some people might not realize it. I don't know if I'd say they might not believe that somebody who seems very capable of channeling couldn't just summon it to be. And sometimes I feel like it can. But and I did a podcast interview with somebody who we talked a bit about that. But Ray was a perfect example, and that came up in it. She was behind her urn at her funeral. I didn't realize at the time because I was at her funeral, and I just didn't. But she told me she was there, and she's been cremated. So, that's, and I don't know. My dad may have been cremated unintentionally, come to think of it, because his truck caught fire. But didn't you be thinking about that? My grandmother says. Have you gotten that she's Scottish? And I don't often, but every now and then I do remember it, because it's Not that I saw it happen, but it's one of those things that I am pretty sure, because it was a welding truck, did happen. And so I can kind of visualize that. I've never gotten her opinion as to what she thinks about what happened between me and my mother. But what she is saying, I feel, is that she's apologizing that if the way I raised my daughters, they knew I loved them. You know your mother loves you. But she's saying, and you may remember that I often, I tried to help her parent as a single parent by saying, listen to your mother. Um, didn't you do that? Listen to your mother. And she said that I'm okay about a certain thing a while back. But she says, you're older now. And I feel like, and I don't remember, other than her Scottish slang, I don't remember a lot of the kinds of things she would say, or, other than that. And she's like, I'm sorry if that's all you remember of me. Ye are a lovely person. I will say this way, you're okay, and as you are, and I'm happy to be your grandmother. She says, you didn't hear from me often. She says, but I send my love. And I'm sorry that my way of parenting and my sometimes being scolding in nature, if you felt like you got that from your mother, who maybe got it a little bit from me. You know that she does feel some angst, or wishes that she wasn't like that. She says, we have to accept up here, as does partner anyone else, if there are reasons why you feel like you shouldn't remain that close to her. We are sad, but we do have to accept that. We have to respect you and your choice. So Denny, worry we do. And she says, yes, I also mean we worry about you all down there. Do we love you? Oh, I, which is yes. Denny means don't, obviously. We canny not. We can't not. Remember any of your other slang that you want to remind me of? I'm happy to watch you from heaven. Drew is with me, with us all. That's 7, I think. And you should see how big he's smiling. You will always be our grand. And I believe second born. Yeah, that's right. And then now they have 3, 4, 5 kind of. And then if Kate has one, then the 2, which probably might be getting close to, some people don't waste no time. Great. Yeah, I think so. Anywho, okay, cool. I'm glad that you guys feel those good and warm feelings about me, and that you're all smiling. Feel like there's one more, and these have been some of my big ones. So I mean, like, who's the grand finale? And your dad's saying it's not a contest. She's like, didn't you try and put one of us ahead of the other? My dad's mother, who I only met spiritually. She says, I'm very proud of you, dear. She says, I love your singing and your play. And I love the person that you are. It's pretty special in a good way. Yeah, I've enjoyed watching you become who you are. And we like what we see. She says, I'm really, really sorry that you can't actually be up here with us yet. It's not your time. She says, don't worry. We are giving your dad a lovely Father's Day. As angels, as we've told you, these kind of things don't matter super strongly to us, but it's not that they don't matter. We still like to have a good time. We still like to have each other's company. And we do it for our loved ones who wish they could, such as yourself. So know that we love you. Know that we're thinking of you. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, the coming week. And we're always wishing you nothing but the best in your lives. And I've always felt that she was very gentle, sweet, tender, well-spoken soul. And I just want to say that I'm very thankful to have you all here. And I also just want to say that I'm really thankful to have gotten to know you, Sadie, grandmother Sadie, because of my gift. She says, I'm very thankful too, dear. She's like, we all just want to give you a bunch of hugs. She's like, Gerald is resting right now, but even if he's a few words and you don't hear from some of us often, know that we love you. Know that we're all very proud. And he's actually, if I can just speak on his behalf for a moment, I'm channeling some of my loved ones. Happy to do it quickly for you. You're just tuning in. I'll do, I'm not charging anything, and I don't charge much anyway. But I'm going to be wrapping this up soon. But I'm just having a visitation with and you left, so whatever. Anywho, she was just going to add, and I should have just kept going. If I would have had this fully in front, but I don't. But it's an interesting picture. She was just going to add, and the dog's just settling down again, that the grandfather that I never met, that he has grown to, let's say, appreciate me in so many ways that I can possibly not even fathom. Little things about me, that he may have thought in life, and sometimes from this side of things, oh, that's a little bit weird, or I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with this, or if our beliefs may be a little too different from each other sometimes. But he says, but I know that he realizes how diverse you are as a person and how great you are, and he knows how much you matter to so many of us up here and in general. So yes, he does. He's happy to be your grandfather, and I just want you to know that, darling. Well, say hi to him for me. I appreciate when he gets to watch over me and hear me do music or just going about life. And y'all, please help. I need a bit more help in my life sometimes. You know, we do our best, and the rest is up to the universe. I just see them all stand up. A few, not all of them, actually, interestingly, three, I would say. And some of them are wiping their eyes, and that are a little bit wet. And a couple of them are clapping. And then I'm seeing them, very flash visuals quickly, all kind of walking off. And that, I think, is their symbol of reminding me that they're always around, but sometimes they do have others to visit. They do have they're living a different type of life, but they're still living a life. And it's also, I think, signifying for me to wrap this up, that I, have covered a lot. And even if it wasn't the most social and most viewed at the moment, and sometimes those are inaccurate and such and such, that it was worth it. And that you're worth it. And yeah. Thank you.